Hey, I need help with something. I have been using this photography setup for about, I don't know, half a year for eBay. This is the current evolution of my product photography setup, and it is a little bit lacking. And I'm not a photography expert at all. I really don't know what I'm doing, and I can stare at write-ups, reviews, and photography YouTube videos for hours and hours trying to make sense of it, and it just drives me insane. So I'm appealing to the hive mind. If I have a viewer who knows more about photography than I do, I'm gonna lay out the problem that I'm having and appeal to you for help. If you can give it, I would really appreciate it. So here's the problem, is I use these three lights that I got off of Amazon. These are basic 2 soft boxes and a ring light, and I do kind of a pseudo flat lay against this wood type felt background. And I'm shooting on a Canon SL3 DSLR, and the problem is I can get the lighting and the color matching basically just good enough to be up to at least my standards. And maybe I'm being a perfectionist, but it's just barely there. All of this light and that expensive, relatively, for me at least, I know it's an entry-level camera, but it is a nice camera, all of that equals barely passable photos. I have to bump down the shutter speed to 1/30, which is barely fast enough to do handheld photography. And I know the thing is, you're supposed to put the camera on a tripod and bump that down lower, but it just, that takes so much time, and I would much rather do it handheld so I can get in close and take detailed photos, macro photos of the tag and all of that, instead of having to put it on the tripod, take the tripod off, on and off. You get the picture. And the ISO, I end up having to bump up to 800 or 1600. And the camera's good enough that it can handle it and the photos don't look awful, but you can definitely tell there's some grain and some weird color haloing. Blacks look green, blues look weird, etc. So here's my question. I want to upgrade to a better light. I'm thinking right now that getting one of those big, relatively big, studio strobe lights and using the mono light, having one big bazooka light that can just output a huge amount of light on this, and use these supplementally to that. I feel like that would be a good solution. Get a big, like an Alien Bees or a White Lightning, something like that, and put a big fat diffuser on it, a big octo box, and put it off to the side. Maybe do the diagonal thing and then use these for fill. Would that work? Would that make a difference? What light would I need to get to have it be bright enough to make a difference? Are the mono lights strong enough to use in that capacity, or would I have to use them as an actual strobe, which I don't know how to do? Also, if I did that, how big of a problem would it be needing to match the color temperature of that strobe to these? Would these even be compatible? Those are my big questions. I cannot find answers on my own because I am apparently a moron. I don't have any experience with this stuff, and I feel like I just need a little bit of relatively expert advice before I pony up $200 or $300 on this project. So if you have answers, I would really appreciate it if you could share them. If not, then thanks for watching anyway. Thanks, guys.